This paper is the M7 Paper 1, January 2020, higher tier for Wednesday, 15th of January. So for question 1, a sequence is formed using the rule, find the next term by adding the previous two terms. This just means find the next number by adding the previous two numbers together. Use this rule to complete the sequence below. Now the first two terms we have x and 4. So by using this rule, we have x plus 4 because we're adding the two of them together. The next number in the sequence is going to be x plus 8. Now that's just because we're adding the 4 and the 4 together. We cannot combine them because they're not like terms. The next number in the sequence is going to be 2x plus 12. This is because we add the x and the x together, which gives us 2x, and the 4 and the 8 together to make it 12. So for question 2, Seb cycles from his home to his piano teacher's house on Saturday morning. He stays there for 30 minutes and then returns directly home. So he starts at this point here and he cycles to his piano teacher's house. He stays for 30 minutes and then he returns directly home. At what time did Seb leave his home? So if we look at the line at the beginning, we can see it's between 9 and 9:10, so it's 9:05, and I've got it written down here. How long did Seb take to get to his teacher's house? We can see he started at 9:05, but if we drew a line down to 9:20, that just means it's taken 5, 10, and 15 minutes in total to get to his teacher's house. Seb arrived home at 10:03, complete the distance time graph. Now this last line wasn't given in the question. I've drawn that myself, and you start at 10:03 here and you would draw a line from the end to that point there, and that would be the graph complete. So for question D, it says, what distance did Seb travel in total? Now if we go to the previous page, you can see he travelled to his teacher's house and it was 8 kilometres to get there, and it was 8 kilometres to get back. So that means he travelled a total distance of 16 kilometres. And I've put it there. So, did Seb travel home at a faster or slower speed? Explain your answer clearly. What I've written here is he's travelled faster. He took 13 minutes to return and 15 minutes to get there. So if we went to the previous page, you can see that he started at 9:05 and he got to 9:20 to get to his teacher's house, which was 15 minutes. And to get back, it was 9:50 and he arrived back at home at 10:03. So that took him 13 minutes. So he travelled faster coming home. For question 3, it says polygon ABCDEF may be divided into triangles. One triangle is shown. This is the triangle, the dashed line here is the triangle that was shown in your question paper. It says use your triangles to work out the sum of interior angles of the polygon A, B, C, D, and F. You must show your working. So what I've done here is draw our triangles here, our lines. So B to E and B to D. Now it's a 6-sided shape, so that means it would have 4 triangles. So each triangle should have 180 degrees, and there's 4 triangles. So the way you would work it out is 4 lots of, or 4 multiplied by 180, which is 720. So that would be the sum of interior angles for that shape. So question 4, it's got 2 boxes. Box 1 has 2, 4, and 5, and box 2 has 1, 2, 3, and 4. and it's just basically telling you this on the question. There are 2 boxes of counters. Each counter has a number on it as shown. Mike takes 1 counter at random from box 1 and then 1 counter at random from box 2. Complete the table to show all possible outcomes of counters taken. Now, all you're really doing is takes 1 from box 1 and then 1 from box 2. So we start with 2, 2 and 1, 2 and 2, 2 and 3, 2 and 4. 4 and 1, 4 and 2, 4 and 3, 4 and 4. 5 and 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4. And everything is written in this table here. For question B, what is the probability that Mike takes a counter with the same number on it from each box? Now what we've got here is 2 out of 12. So that means it would be this one here and this one here. So that's 2 out of the 12 things that's in this table. We cancel that down to 1 over 6. So for question C, it says the numbers on the counters taken are multiplied. What is the probability of this multiplication given an even number? So if we go to the previous page, when you multiply 2 times 1 and 2 times 2, if you're multiplying, if one of the numbers has an even number in it, you're going to get an even answer. So the only 2 that's going to be odd numbers out of that when you multiply together is 5 and 1 and 5 and 3. So that means you're going to have 10 out of 12 that would be even. And that's your answer there, 10 out of 12 divided, and we cancel that down. We divide by 2, top and bottom, to cancel that one down. On another day, Laura takes 1 counter from each box and multiplies the numbers together. So she's basically doing exactly the same as question C. We're multiplying them together. She replaces the counters and does the same thing again for a total of 30 times. How many times would you expect her to get an odd number? Answer. So instead of even, we're looking for odd. So if the even is 5 out of 6, then the odd must be 1 out of 6. And what we do is, whenever you see a number like this, usually it's multiplication. So 1 6 multiplied by 30. The way you can do that one is 30 divided by 6 is equal to 5. And that's the answer for that one. Question 5, it says estimate the value of 593 over 4.1 multiplied by 9.7. Anytime you see an estimate on the exam paper, you're rounding these numbers up. And it says show all your working. So we look at what is closest to 593. And we can see it's 600. What's closest to 4.1? It's 4. And what's closest to 9.7? That would be 10. So the way we can rewrite that is, we can do 600 divided by 4 multiplied by 10. The next point is we do the multiplication, so 4 times 10 is 40. And then we can divide top and bottom by 10, which then becomes 60 divided by 4. And when we do 60 divided by 4, it should be 15. So the answer to this one is 15. For question 6, the prize money in a golf tournament is divided between the 3 golfers who finish first, second and third in the ratio of 7, 4 and 3. What fraction of the prize money does each of the first 3 golfers receive? Write each fraction in its simplest form. So the way we look at it is, that would be add in your 7, 4 and 3, which ends up being 14. And we do 7 out of 14, 4 out of 14, and 3 out of 14. Now, because it's asking for simplest form, we can cancel each of these down if we can. So for the first one, we have cancelled it down to a half. That means we're dividing by 7, top and bottom here. 7 divided by 7 is 1, 14 divided by 7 is 2, and that's what we have there. The next one is 2 out of the 7. We've divided top and bottom by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, 14 divided by 2 is 7. The next one we have is 3 out of 14. 3 out of 14, that has stayed the same because we can't cancel that one down. So question 7 is a transformation question. It says, describe fully the single transformation which would move shape P onto shape Q. So from this shape to this shape. You can see it's upside down there, so it looks more like a rotation. So we put rotation there. You can see it's got 3 marks here. This would only give you 1 mark. So we have to figure out how much it's rotated by, and we can see that we'll find out it's 180 degrees. And it would be about 0, 0. Now to find these ones out, you would have to use tracing paper, and you would put your pencil on the tracing paper to find out where, at what point it's been rotated. So question B says, translate shape P 2 units to the right and 5 units down, label the image T. So we take P and we just move the points 2 to the right and 3 down, or 5 down should I say. And we do that with every single point, and then we join our dots up, our points up. So that one there is just been translated. So we move on to question C. Describe fully the single transformation which would move shape T back to shape P. So we're doing exactly the opposite. We're moving from T all the way back to P. So it's the opposite of what question B was. So it's a translation. Instead of 2 units to the right, it's now 2 units to the left. Instead of 5 units down, it's 5 up. So it's completely the opposite of the last question there. So question 8 is indices. We've got a multiplication here, and we do 4 multiplied by 3, which is 12. And with our indices, when it's a multiplication like this, we add our indices, which is 3 plus 4 is 7. So that's our final answer. And question B is m to the power of 4 in brackets with the power of 5 outside. When you see brackets like that, we usually multiply our indices. So that should be m to the power of 20. So the question 9, it says solve the inequality. 6y plus 5 is greater than or equal to 2. So what we do here is we get rid of the 5 first. We take away 5 from both sides. So we get rid of the 5 on the left hand side, but then it's 2 take away 5, which is minus 3. The next one you want to get rid of is 6. This is multiplying by the y. And so instead of multiplication, we have to divide by 6 to get rid of that 6 there. So divide by 6 both sides. That becomes y on the left hand side, and we have minus 3 divided by 6. The next step is basically cancelling down instead. So what we're doing is basically multiplying, or not multiplying, but we're dividing by 3 top and bottom. So that would be y is greater than or equal to minus a half. So question B, it says write down the smallest integer value of y which satisfies the inequality 6y plus 5 is greater than or equal to 2. So we'll bring this y is greater than minus a half because that's the solution to this. And what's the biggest number after minus a half would be 0. So 0 would be the answer to this one. This is the nearest or smallest integer after minus a half.